Hey, this is Michael Jordan with AB Friendly Company. Down here at the underground meadery, lots of stuff going on. I wanted to show you a couple things here real quick. So we're going to do a really quick one as we work down to moving some stuff out of here. I've got this big pan and I've got my hot plate, and what I'm doing is we've got water in it, and using our temperature gauge and monitoring the heat of the water, we're able to decrystallize. So some of the jars start off, they're starting to get crystallized, right? But we want to keep all the enzymes, so we're monitoring the heat, and we're slowly making the jars back to liquid. So this is something that you might have to do. We're keeping the temperature around 100. Right, enough to where it won't kill the enzymes. About 120, it'll start killing the enzymes and what's in the honey. We just want to keep it above 80, so we keep it about 100. That way it starts dissolving the honey pretty good, and it doesn't kill all the enzymes. The next thing I got going on is I just got done racking out a nice clover mead, and people are like, well, we started out with a gallon, and I have residual. So what I do is I have a paint funnel, has a little screen at the bottom, and then I put a tea bag, paper tea bag inside of it, and then that way, see, it's got a little tea bag inside of it, and what that does is it's going to be a screen. So we're going to try to get some of the rest of the fines out. So this is a good time to, you just put that over a glass, and it's kind of cloudy, right? We can shake it up. Now, it's not going to remove everything, but it'll help start straining out some of the mix, so it isn't so gritty or so yeasty tasting. You can start seeing it right on top. So it, like I said, it's not going to clear it completely out, but it does keep all the yeast and stuff out of it. Takes a little bit for it to drain. So we'll let that filter just a little bit. So that's one way to kind of clear out some of the yeast, because you might as well just drink it. I mean, it's not going to hurt you or anything, but you can filter out some of the yeast as you go. So this is one that we filtered out. So back in January, when we first started all this, we talked about some different types of yeast. And this was a yeast comparison jug. One of the yeast comparison jugs, you saw us film that we took a mead that we made in January, the regular way that we used, just the Red Star Yellow Pack yeast, right? And it was done with the bubbler unit. And we did a Yellow Star Pack yeast to compare against 11. I think this is a KV or K1V116. K1V1116. So we did a comparison between a Red Star. Both of them are high champagne yeast, so we could compare. But we ended up taking one of those jugs because it was clearing up pretty good, and we decided to add grapes to it. So this would be the second one, and it's starting to clear up. And then this one right here, look how dark it is compared to how light this one is, right? So this one was made the same way, same honey, the whole thing around, but this one was the blended yeast that we did. It had some of the Red Star Premier, the green pack, the red pack, the yellow pack, and then we even added some distiller's yeast to this. And it is, you can start to see, it is really starting to clear up, but it has like a greener tint to it, a little darker tint to it. We can see here with the light how color, this has got some good color, right? It's kind of got a green color to it, but it's the clover. And this one's got a really dark green to it. Both clearing up really good. So what I was going to do is I was going to take a gravity reading and see what we have comparative from a champagne yeast to what we have with the blended yeast using distiller, right? And had the blended yeast going. So I was going to take a gravity reading to see comparisons of drops on them, and then I'm going to rack them into these jugs, cold crash them, kill the yeast off, let it settle, and then I'll probably rack it one, maybe two more times to get as much clarity as I can of it, and then we'll bottle it down. So I just wanted to see that, but I wanted to see what we got for gravities off the yeast real quick and show you that. So I'll get my gravity tube here, my gravity stake, my pin. So we'll do this one. This is using the 11K1 V1116. And I got it right, huh? So this is also a really good way to see about finishing out your meads. So now that we've kind of fermented, this one was done in January. So it's February, March, April, right? We've got 90 days in here. It's time to start racking them off. They should be completely fermented off in 90 days. Fermentation still can take up to 6 years. It's not as heavy as it was, and it may increase over time, and it's because of yeast and the type of sugar we're using that residual yeast still can last if we don't filter it out. So what we're starting to do is filter out the yeast. One way is now that it's starting to clear out, the yeast is dying, there isn't a lot of sugar, so we're getting the bottom silt at the bottom. So we're going to start taking and racking that off. You can see without it being how much clearer it is now individually. I mean, that's really nice. Right, so out of the jug, that probably has some sediment on the side of the glass and stuff. This is really cleared up really nice. Has a good smell. Now remember, we should start it should float, and then it should drop, right? When it floats, that means it has sugar, it has mass, it has volume. When it drops, that means it's eaten all the sugar, and we should see it drop. This one started out with a specific gravity of 1.070. So let's see what it is now. Oh, we still have some residual sugar in it. It's 1.010. So we're looking at about 9% alcohol ratio. We'll see what it tastes like here. See, also with this, we're looking for a flavor. So this would be one that, see if we're getting a honey smell with what kind of after scent you get. You don't want to have a high alcohol burst in somebody's face, and you don't want it to smell like the yeast that you were using. So you want a good strong flavor of what you put in it, which is basically a good water and the honey mix. So this isn't really bad. This is ready to rack off into one of these jugs. And I'm going to write down the gravity real quick before I forget. 110, 10, 10. Okay. We'll pour that back in. Now this will tell us how the yeast did with the type of honey we did and what kind of flavors we get. This is where we decide, do we want to change it to pomegranate, persimmon, a melith, maybe add chili peppers and chocolate. We can now alter the mead itself into a flavorful drink if this isn't something that we like. and that is extremely right on target. Wow. Clover with that, that's an extremely great taste. There would be no need to add or anything. This is one that we cold crash bottle, share it with friends over a good little barbecue. This is a good one. So I'm going to wash everything down. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rack these off. You've seen our racking tube. It has a little siphon funnel on it, and so you can pump it. Goes through a little funnel or a little screen bobber on the end. I'm going to rack these down, get these ready to cold crash. I'm going to take a reading off of this one to see the next. In fact, I think I got time. We got time. I just checked the clock here. Let me wash this out real quick. Don't want any residual sugar. We'll pull the balloon off of this. So like I said, I'm going to rack these off anyway. My friend says he can always smell if it's done. I only smell the balloon. Now, this one is so much more clear than the other one. That one's way clear. It has a good smell too. This one started to do off. This is another clover honey. This one we did the Red Star Blue, half a teaspoon or half a tablespoon of the blue, the yellow, and a half a teaspoon of the turbo distiller's yeast. This was done back in January 21st, 17. Good clarity, has good smell. Gravity was 1.127. It's all gone. It's down to 0. 127 is 16%. So just from the difference of how these were over the time span, this one is at about 9% alcohol, and this one is all the way to 16.2% alcohol. Now the whole deal is man, this one had super great flavor. Had good alcohol content, right? Anything over 6% is pretty good, or you'd be drinking beer. This takes way less time, much easier to do, and we're at a 9%. We could probably have added nutrients or something else to this to boost this up and got it maybe into 11 or 12, which is a good stable table wine. But this one just regular using a distiller's yeast. If it tastes anything like this does with that alcohol, that's a brilliant boost. So we'll pour that back in. It smells good. Now, it does not have near the honey flavor this does. It has very little residual hard burn. Tastes good, but does not near have the flavor. But this one, boy, you can definitely taste the alcohol towards the end, over top. Yeah. I think this one right here I'd be sipping at night. I think this one would be a good one to have during the day, out with some friends, drink with a little party, something. Maybe take to a golf course with some buddies. This one's definitely a nighttime cocktail. Very hard, very heavy, good burn. I'm starting to get some wood taste. I think that's from that distiller's yeast. So yeah, I'm getting some wood after effects from it. So pretty good. I do want to write down real quick. We said this is zeroed out on the final gravity. So that'll help me get my percentages on here. I will rack these off now. Get them ready to cold crash. We're going to try to clear them up a little bit more, get ready to bottle them. But I just wanted to show you a few things here real quick. This one's still dripping. I'll set this on top. Now this shouldn't be so gritty, but like I said, it's not going to clear it up any. This would be, when I rack this out, this is the bottom yeast at the bottom. I just hold all the yeast off of it. Instead of this going to waste, I could have this sit for 24 hours and have all the rest of this little sediment sit at the bottom for clarity, or you can just enjoy it. Oh yeah, super good meat. Hey, I'm Michael Jordan with AB Friendly Company. Thank you for joining us down here at the Underground Meadery. Got to see us how we're decrystallizing some honey, doing some filtering, getting ready to cold crash. We hope that you enjoy. Share this with your friends. Get out there, make some mead.